Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today in this video we are going to learn about hip joint. Hip joint is a very important essay question in your first year MBBS university examinations. Indeed, it is one of the most important questions which can be asked in your lower limb portion of the gross anatomy. So let us learn it very carefully. To start with, I am going to tell you some of the subheadings under which we are going to learn the hip joint. The first subheading which we will see is the type of joint. We'll see which type of joint is the hip joint. After that, we will move on to the articular surfaces. By articular surfaces, I mean what are the surfaces of the different bones which are involved in making the hip joint. And then third, we will see ligaments of the hip joint. Any joint in our body is supported by different ligaments which are present around it. These ligaments support the joint, provide stability to the joint, and they allow different movements which joint can perform. The fourth subheading which we are going to see the relations of the joint. The hip joint in our body is located between many structures. We will see what are the structures which are present in front of it, what are the structures which are present in back of it, what are the structures which are present laterally, what are the structures which are present medially. So in this we will see the relations of the hip joint. After that, we'll slowly move on to the blood supply and nerve supply of the hip joint. Here we will see what are the different arteries which supply the hip joint and what are the different nerves which supply the hip joint. After that, at last, we will see the main purpose of the joint, main purpose of the hip joint, that is what are the different possible movements a hip joint can perform and different muscles assisting in those movements. We will see for each movement two very important muscles. Indeed, many muscles help in one type of movement, but we will see just two important muscles because that is what is the human brain's capacity to remember. So now let us start. Let us just dive in. So what type of joint the hip joint is? Hip joint is a ball and socket type of joint, and it is a synovial joint. It is a synovial joint because this joint contains a synovial cavity which is filled with synovial fluid. The ball and socket hip joint is called as ball and socket type of joint because ball is formed by the head of the femur and socket is formed by the acetabulum of the hip bone. So this is how the hip joint is known as ball and socket type of hip joint. Now coming to articular surfaces. So the two bones which take part in forming a hip joint are femur and hip bone. Okay, the head of the femur which is present on the neck and the acetabulum of the hip bone. By acetabulum, I mean a lunate shaped structure which is formed by joining of the ischium of the hip bone, ilium of the hip bone and pubis of the hip bone. This acetabulum, that is lunate shaped structure of the hip bone, and the head of the femur, they together combine with each other and form a joint known as hip joint. Remember, both the surfaces of the bones are covered with the cartilage known as articular cartilage, which is hyaline in nature. Okay, now moving on to a very small important topic, which is stability of the hip joint. Hip joint is very stable and it also surprisingly provides variable wide range of movements in our body. Normally there is a law that if a joint is stable, it won't be providing many range of movements, and if a joint is providing wide range of movement, it won't be stable. But hip joint is kind of exception to it because it is highly stable and it also provides wide range of movement in our body, unlike our shoulder joint. Okay, so coming to why is the hip joint so stable? The first point here is the acetabulum, which is formed in the hip bone, is actually pretty deep, and its depth is increased by the acetabular labrum, which covers the total circumference of the acetabulum. Okay, and the second point here is that the ligaments provide a lot of stability to the hip joint, and hip joint have pretty much many ligaments. The third point is the neck of the femur is oblique and it aligns the head in a proper position to make the joint stable. And fifth point is because of atmospheric pressure. So this is how it is. Now let us come to the ligament. Ligaments of the hip joint are primarily responsible for the strength of the hip joint, the stability of the hip joint, and they provide wide range of movement which hip joint provides. And so these ligaments are as follows. We have in total 7 ligaments which are supporting the hip joint and providing and offering the wide range of movements. These are, the first one is fibrous capsule. Then there is one ligament connecting the femur bone to each part of the hip bone. So there is a ligament which connects the ilium of the hip bone to the femur, that is iliofemoral ligament. There is a ligament which connects the pubis of the hip bone to the femur, which is pubofemoral ligament. There is a ligament which connects ischium of the hip bone to the femur, which is ischiofemoral ligament. There is a ligament, another ligament, which is attached to the head of the femur, which is known as ligament of head of femur. And there is then acetabular labrum and transverse acetabular ligament. So these are the 7 ligaments present and around the hip joint or related to the hip joint. Now let us see each one in a little bit detail. So let us start with acetabular labrum. What is an acetabular labrum? An acetabular labrum is nothing but a fibrocartilaginous rim which is made up of fibers and cartilage, elastic fibers or collagen fiber and the cartilage, and it forms a rim around the circumference of the acetabulum and forms the margin of it. Okay, it narrows the mouth, that is opening of the acetabulum, and it covers the head of the femur. Okay. It helps in holding the head of the femur in firm position in the joint and provides a good stability to the hip joint. It is kind of a cap covering the mouth of the bottle. So this rim, fibrocartilaginous rim, that is acetabular labrum, forms the cap, and the mouth of the bottle is formed by the head of the femur. So that cap covers the femur and it provides the stability and firmness to the joint. Now coming to the fibrous capsule. What is fibrous capsule? Fibrous capsule is attached on the hip bone to the acetabular labrum. It is also attached to the bone the hip bone little bit above the acetabulum and little bit below the acetabulum, and it is attached to the femur bone also, to the intertrochanteric line of the femur. Intertrochanteric line is a line which is present between the greater and the lesser trochanter of the femur. So fibrous capsule is basically attached to the acetabular labrum. It is a fibrous capsule, means a capsule which is formed of the fibers like collagen fiber. It is attached to the acetabular labrum of the hip bone, femur bone and acetabulum of the hip bone. It is thick anterior superiorly and thin posterior inferiorly. That is why in standing posture, the anterior superior part of the joint which has thick fibrous capsule is subjected to the maximum tension when we are standing. And then comes to a little bit of fibers about the fibrous capsule. So fibers of the fibrous capsule are basically of 2 types, outer longitudinal and inner circular. Both of these fibers together, they are known as zona orbicularis. And out of these 2 fibers, that is our outer longitudinal and inner circular, the longitudinal fibers are reflected little bit back to the neck of the femur, and they form a structure known as retinacula, which allow the passage of different blood vessels, and these blood vessels supply the hip joint. Okay, now coming to another important ligament, which is iliofemoral ligament. Remember, this ligament is also known as ligament of Bigelow. It is not an important question, but a lot of times it can be asked, and it is asked in the examinations that describe ligament of Bigelow. So remember, iliofemoral ligament is also known as ligament of Bigelow. This ligament connects the ilium of the hip bone to the femur. It is the strongest ligament present in the body. It prevents our body, that is the trunk, abdomen, from falling backward when we are standing. Okay. It is triangular in shape and is attached to the lower half of anterior inferior iliac spine of the hip bone. Now coming to another ligament which is known as pubofemoral ligament. Pubofemoral ligament, as the name suggests, very obviously connects the pubis of the hip bone to the femur bone. It is also triangular in shape like that of iliofemoral ligament. It is attached to the iliopubic eminence of the hip bone, obturator crest and obturator membrane of the hip bone, on the hip bone, and obviously on the femur. So pubofemoral ligament is attached to the iliopubic eminence, obturator crest and obturator membrane on the hip bone and to the femur on the femur bone. The next ligament is ischiofemoral ligament. Ischiofemoral ligament is comparatively weak when compared to the other ligaments we will study today. It is little bit weak and it connects, as the name suggests, ischium of the hip bone to the femur of the hip bone. Now coming to the fifth ligament, which is ligament of head of femur or ligamentum teres and round ligament of head of femur. It is again triangular in shape and it is flat. It is attached to the fovea capitis, which is present on the head of the femur. So basically head of the femur contains a little bit depression in its center, which is known as fovea capitis. This fovea capitis has the attachment of ligament of head of femur or round ligament of head of femur to it. And on the hip bone, it is attached to the transverse ligament and to the margins of the acetabulum. Okay. Margins of the acetabulum or acetabular notch. This ligament, remember, is very thin and useful in transmission of arteries and nerve from in the hip joint. Okay. Now coming to another very important ligament in the hip joint, which is transverse ligament of acetabulum. So this ligament basically is present between the acetabular notches. So the acetabulum is a lunate shaped. It is kind of semicircular. So below it there is a gap and there are two notches on the side of those gap. Those two notches or points on the side of that gap are known as acetabular notches. So this transverse ligament of acetabulum is present between those two acetabular notches and it is attached to the acetabular notch. It basically forms a canal or foramen, which is allowing the passage of many acetabular vessels and nerves through it. So basically transverse ligament of acetabulum is present between the two acetabular notches and it forms a canal or foramen type of structure by bridging the two acetabular notches, and from this foramen many acetabular nerves and vessels pass. Okay. So this was about the 7 ligaments which are related to our hip joint. Now coming to relations of hip joint. Let us see different structures which are related. Now moving on to the relations of the hip joint. It is very obvious that since the hip joint is present in our body, some structures will be present in front of it, some structures will be present behind it, and some structures will be present medially, some structures will be present laterally. So let us see what are the structures which are present in front, what are the structures which are present behind and on the two sides. Okay, to start with, let us see what are the structures present in front of the hip joint, that is anterior relations. So anterior relations of the hip joint are as follows. So the first one is femoral triangle and the structures present in femoral triangle, that is femoral nerve, femoral artery and femoral vein. Apart from this, we have some muscles which are basically forming the floor of the femoral triangle, which is iliacus and psoas major, that is iliopsoas muscle. A bursa present between the iliopsoas muscle and the hip joint. So these are the pretty much anterior relations of the hip joint. Femoral nerve, femoral artery, femoral vein and the iliopsoas muscle. Remember, if you want to remember this, you can just remember the anterior relation of the hip joint as femoral triangle. Now coming to the posterior relations of the hip joint. The posterior relations of the hip joint are basically the structures present in gluteal region. Not all of them, but some of them. Okay, in series. Starting with the first relation of the hip joint posteriorly is nerve to quadratus femoris. Then comes obturatus internus muscle with two gemelli. Okay, superior and inferior gemelli. Then comes sciatic nerve. Then comes quadratus femoris muscle and obturator externus muscle. Remember, obturator externus and obturator internus, both of them are the posterior relations of the hip joint, and two nerves are related to the hip joint, posteriorly to the hip joint, sciatic nerve and nerve to quadratus femoris. And there is another very important muscle related posteriorly to the hip joint, which is piriformis. So basically the posterior relations of the hip joint are some of the structures of the gluteal region. Okay, and some other structures which are left out of the gluteal region are superior relations of the hip joint. So let us see superior relations of the hip joint. Superior relations of the hip joint are three gluteal muscles, that is gluteus maximus, minimus and medius, tensor fasciae latae, rectus femoris and sartorius. Tensor fasciae latae, rectus femoris and sartorius. Now we can see that, gluteus medius, minimus, maximus are the structures of the gluteal region, and tensor fasciae latae, rectus femoris and sartorius are the structures present in front of thigh. So superior relations of the hip joint are basically the structures of some three muscles, the three primary muscles of the gluteal region and the three muscles of our front of thigh. Now coming to the inferior relations. Inferior relations of the hip joint are basically the structures related to the ischium of the hip bone. These are adductor longus, brevis, magnus, all the hamstring muscles, that is semitendinosus, semimembranosus, adductor part of adductor magnus and biceps femoris. Okay. The next is pectineus and obturator nerve. Now, also gracilis. Now coming to movements of the hip joint, then we'll see blood supply and nerve supply. It is very simple. Movements of the hip joint. So at hip joint we can perform flexion, extension, adduction, medial rotation and lateral rotation. Also abduction. Okay, so flexion of the hip joint is performed by psoas major and iliacus. Anterior relations, extension is performed by gluteus maximus and hamstrings. Remember, both of them are the muscles of extensor compartment of the lower limb, and adduction is performed by the adductor compartment muscles, that is longus, brevis and magnus, adductor longus, brevis, magnus, and medial rotation is performed by the tensor fasciae latae. Lateral rotation is performed by obturator externus and internus with two gemelli. Okay, now coming to the blood supply. Blood supply to the hip joint is given by the obturator artery, circumflex femoral artery and the two gluteal arteries. Okay, which are all basically the branch of femoral arteries. Femoral artery. So femoral artery provides the blood supply to the hip joint. Nerve supply is provided by femoral nerve through different branches. Also nerve to rectus femoris, anterior division of obturator nerve, and nerve to quadratus femoris. Okay. Always remember, the blood supply and nerve supply of the hip joint is very easy. It is femoral artery and femoral nerve. Okay. Thank you for watching the video. If you like the video, do press the like button and subscribe to the channel. And keep waiting for the more videos. Bye.